Tonight I thought we'd work on the evolution of Kokyu Nage and Seidokan Aikido. Kokyu Nage, Kokyu means breath, Nage throw, so breath throw, timing throw. In a lot of schools you'll use this term, Kokyu Nage, to refer to about 100 different techniques, right? In Seidokan though, if you're going to throw someone forward, we'll say Zenko Nage. If you're going to throw them back, Koko Nage. Drop their elbow, Hijioto. So we sort of specify all of our arts. So Kobayashi Sensei reserved Kokyu Nage for the arts where we're at the neck and the arm, and we're on the outside. Now this art derived from Irimi Nage, or other people call it Kokyu Nage, or Irimi Nage, or Tenkai Nage. So let me start with what we, with what that looked like. Cross wrist grab, please. So from here, facing him, on Irimi Nage, I'm going to go deep, bring him around, down, bring him up, and through. Okay? So there's a Tenkan and an Irimi. Right here, I have to see his point of view. As he starts to come around, I'm lowering it, he's losing his balance, he's coming up and down. Now this is where you're going to run into him most of the time on that up. Right? So a lot of times people come and they, he should be strong here. What you want to do is point up over here, bring his head to the shoulder. So as up is here, then you can enter. Do not enter before you open the door. Right? I haven't opened the door. Here I open the door and come through. So this is kind of the origin of the art. And the deviation that we've developed to make it more efficient, perhaps. And it's a different art. This is still a very valid art, so shall we try it? Okay, so that movement, you go in deep, you turn at least 360, you bring him up, and you enter. Great art. Takes a bit of time. And notice, it'd be hard to do if you can't raise your arm. Well, when Kobayashi Sensei was practicing in Japan in 1968, he injured his arm. He could only raise it about this far. So serendipity, you know, he's going to train with his arm. What does art start to look like when you can't raise your arm? Well, you're going to come here lower, and then, you know, that's actually easy. You come in, because you know, on either side, this is here and up, just to go down. Instead, down, oh, leave it down, just lower it. So this is how we did it on one side. The other side, we did the other way, because he was training in Japan. And, you know, it healed up, but he was like scratching his head going, how come it's easier the other way when I don't lower the guy or raise the guy to step in through? Because another thing you're not doing is stepping in there, are you? So you just sort of jump in there, down. So shall we try that? Kind of a fortuitous circumstance, right? Okay, so then Sensei put that away in his head for a while. Things happened. Joined the Key Society in 1974 under Koichi Sensei. And by the time I started Aikido in 1977, we were doing it sort of like that. He was going back to this low movement, but he called this phone booth techniques. You know, some of you don't know what a phone booth is. You have, someone's attaching a phone booth, you have to be able to stay in a small area. So you can't, you know, go way over here because you just banged your head on the phone booth, right? So, John. So what's the phone booth version of this here? So instead of going all the way, I'm just going to come right here. He's my pal. I'm a little ahead of him. Now he's really strong. Are you a strong guy? So I'm going to show him this little spot. Write it right down. Since he used to write it down, right? So you're here. So don't try to pull it over here. You won't get it down or in front of him. It's right here. Here. And then as I come up, I continue to leave my hand down. So it's you know, boom. So this really doesn't have much in common with the irony, right? Irony would be, there's none of that part, that second part in there, right? This is all the setup. By the way, you know, if you do it this small, it's easy to flip them over. So now you're going to turn 180 degrees from static. Stay ahead of them, as if you're going to touch the mat, like I did that time. And what does he do? This happens, and as you come up, we used to say, oh, it's like you're working under the sink. You forget you're under the sink. You come up, you bang your head, you go back down, right? You know, so here's the ceiling, he comes back up, he runs into the short ceiling, he drops it. Kokyu Nage. So in 1981, Seidokan Aikido was formed. In fact, this year is the 30th anniversary of Seidokan Aikido, which, you know, we're having a big to-do. So Kobayashi Sensei felt that Seidokan was developed to really go back to the fundamental principles and make sure that the art's reflecting that. He really focused on the poem, the Hitoashi Yogate poem, take one step aside and cut immediately as a focus of the art. This is a poem by O Sensei. It's not take a step and a half, not dive in and swing around, not raise it up and, you know, just take one step aside and cut. So experimenting with that, Max, we can see how Kokyu Nage evolved further, same as that. So if I go, this is my chest is in this plane. If I turn it 30 degrees, I'm still on the line of force, right? 45, still 60. 90 degrees, I'm off the line of force. This is one step aside. So now I can't do the art the way I did because it's going to slide this way. But if I just cut, now we have a very efficient turn and Hitoashi Yogate. So here it is. Hitoashi Yogate. This is really tricky. Now you can't really see the two-part movement so easily. This looks like one. Of course, if he doesn't fall, one, then two, in that. In this direction. One. And again, I can easily convert him to a pin, which is a very handy thing to be able to do. So, this one I'm going to turn 90 degrees, raise up, cut down and move your foot out of the way. Just like as simple as it gets. This is sort of paring down Kokyu Nage to its essence. Hitoashi Yogate, Suguni Kirabeshi. But it's with Banyu Aigo no Seishin. This doesn't feel like much except splash, right? It's not, sorry. It's splash, you know. What he feels is the ground and coming up very quickly and he rolls and splashes. Shall we? So it's a very efficient art, right? So he's coming here. I could not let him grab. Or maybe he punches. Cut. Or maybe he strikes Shomunuchi. Cut. Try to stay up. Okay? Whatever. So go ahead. I want you to practice. Let's go ahead and do from here. He's trying to grab my wrist. I don't let him. I just get the hand out of the way. He's trying to punch me. Cut. Neck and elbow. He's striking Shomunuchi. Cut. So you see, this is the bare bones. I sometimes call this Ikkyo number one. Kokyu Nage number one. Why? Because there's just one cut. Right? It's great in randori kind of movements where you have to just turn and cut. There's no bringing them back. We'll explore Kokyu Nage number two in a minute. But go ahead from same side, across wrist grab. Don't let them grab, just come up and cut down the elbow and the neck. Munetsuki, cut down the elbow and the neck. Shomunuchi, cut down the elbow and the neck. This is There goes Kokyu Nage. Right? So, you know, Kokyu Nage number one, this punch, is very powerful. And if I were like, you know, I had multiple attackers like we just did, punches, you know, I'm ready for the next. So, you know, and that's kind of a layout fall. But if I just got one person, you know, this version's a little like slammy nagi, right? Just bang. I might want to moderate. So let's go back to cross wrist grab. And so before we came up and cut down and splash. But we could go back to a two-step kind of movement. Kobayashi Sensei used to call it Banyu Aigo Kokyu Nage because you're giving him the spirit of loving protection. You're gently letting him come to the ground. See how I opened it up and dropped it back. It's also considered magic. Because, oh, what are you doing? You know, just doing this. And, you know, 1, 2. And it goes, cheers, 2. 1, this opens the tension. 2, collapses him. So it's like we've been given the keys to this car. Right? He's solid. But if you start the car up in gear, you can drive it anywhere. If you're going to sit there and you got the parking brake on and try to move the car, it's very difficult. The key in, the Aiki in, and spirit. So let's try this 2 count, Banyu Aigo, Kokyu Nage, to finish up this bit here. So, you know, our minds usually get in the way. He's holding himself strong. I'm like, darn! Instead of going, what's he holding on to? Something like jello. He's stepping into jello. He's coming to grab you. You see O-sensei doing these little movements like, you know, little nothing movements. Hardly touching them. These things are very powerful. Then, of course, you can actually touch. But be careful what you do. Make sure can take a fall. Because you can drive a guy right through the mat when you're soft and give him this extra. This is why this is the Banyu Aigo. Yeah, protected him. I'm asking him why he was so silly to attack me. And he says, because you told me to. I'm like, I appreciate that. That's why I shouldn't trash it. Right? All right.